I think this issue is really important because it's an emerging phenomenon. From our coalition perspective, we're definitely hearing it at the table with our members that social media is being used to be able to kind of replicate behavior. So one key theme that Jordan Fairburn brought out was that replication of behavior on social media. So whether that's stalking or harassment, and I think that's even more so for youth because frankly social media is so much embedded in their daily life that we have to really consider that within that continuum of violence.
Oftentimes, if you talk about media and the cyberbullying, etc., some of the women that we do have which are fleeing abuse of their partner are harassed through the media. So we do see that often, and it's increasing. So of course we want to increase our net knowledge so we're able to support the women better.
I think that's important because, frankly, we don't talk enough about it. Speaking as a sort of a teacher, the students all seem to be really sort of engaged and living in this social media world, and seem to know so little about it. It's almost like it's a separate world. They know, they understand, they figure it out, and then we don't have a lot of information about it. And so, as problems kind of spill out of sort of the online world, we need more information to be able to help them out, to be able to figure out what's taking place, and be able to solve whatever problems might be emerging.
We have a really captive audience in Ottawa to have a complicated, complex discussion about online sexual harassment, which is great. And it's also great to see people really including some nuance in the discussion. So not simply talking about the victims and the roles they play, but talking about things like bystanders and how we as a community can create a safer environment for our young people online.
You can't take it down when it's internet. Whether it's a picture that was given, comment, it's there permanent, and everybody sees it, and you are surrounded by it. So can you imagine a room full of people who have a bad idea of who you are or a false idea, and they're all pointing a finger at you, and everywhere you go you don't know who saw that comment.
We also hear about women being told that if they don't send a nude photo, I will tell everyone that a photo does exist. So that form of coercion where you don't even necessarily send the photo, and there's already the implication that you have. And once those rumors start circulating, people start going online, they start looking for that photo.
It never ends because it's there. So it could be 10 years from now, somebody can get that comment. So the impact is really, it's great on so many levels, and impacts people depending on the relationships that they have. And imagine even if you're trying to run for student council or president or prime minister, having that reflect and come back and haunt you. So it's kind of like a spirit or a ghost that is haunting you forever.
When we hear about a woman whose nude photo was circulated, we always say, well, why did she let her photo get taken? But instead, I want to know, why did you think it was funny to send it to your entire hockey team? Why did you think it was funny to post it online? Why was that photo used as ammunition against that woman? And that discussion is really, really important because it's about creating that peer support and that peer pressure that says, hey, if you do this, we were not going to support you. If you do this, you're not going to be the cool kid anymore.
The violence and the attitudes aren't coming from social media, that they're more a reflection of what's happening in society as a whole, which I think is probably true of social media. It's just a reflection of our society, so that I think a lot of the solutions aren't necessarily about addressing these social media aspects specifically, but figuring out where are these attitudes coming from, how do we root them out, and also how as adults do we model better behavior.
What I found really exciting was that there were a lot of people from different walks of life, and they were all agreeing. They were all agreeing to work together in a positive manner. We had violence against women's experts, educators, police officers, community workers, all of these different parties saying, yes, this matters, there's something here, we need to do something.
Really, it's about mobilizing everyone. And probably the first step, and sort of one of the message I took away from today, is that it needs to start with recognizing that what's taking place online is not trivial. That the abuse that's taking place there, the harassment that's taking place there is serious and needs to be handled in a serious way.
We have to engage youth in the conversation. It's one thing to have it amongst grown-ups, but until you actually engage the youth, we will not make a lot of progress on this issue. And of course, schools are one of the best places to find and engage the youth in this kind of conversation. We're also looking at a lot of the non-cognitive skills now, and critical thinking and resilience and a number of other skills that all play into this type of issue.
I think a community-based approach is always important, that you really want it to come from the members of your community, not only kind of for buy-in, but if you're addressing a preventative kind of campaign, that you want it to speak to those who are in your community. Whether that can go further, which is excellent if we can create something like that, but really I think Crime Prevention Ottawa and Octiva are very much focused on creating local preventative strategies.
We've heard a lot about education, and what I found really encouraging is I heard a lot of people saying, you know what, I don't necessarily understand everything that's happening in social media, but I want to understand. And I also heard a lot of people talking about actually wanting to take the lead from youth, that this is an area where youth really are an authority, and they have we have a really amazing opportunity to learn from them. So seeing them take on some of the education piece.
What I think that we've identified through this morning is a need for perhaps a bit more research, probably research in engaging young people, and maybe that can be some action-oriented research, maybe something with the school boards looking to develop some campaigning material. I'm not quite sure, but I really want to make sure that this is a beginning, but it's not an end, and we will be continuing this conversation.